At 6, take a good look at police dash cam video on your screen. An Austin police SUV heading to an emergency when a truck crashes into its side. Now the passengers of that truck are suing the city and their driver.
You know what to do when you see those lights and hear those sirens. This evening, we're looking at your responsibilities as a driver and the responsibilities of police as an officer now faces a lawsuit.
And we are letting you watch the video and decide for yourself what happened in this case. KXAN investigator Kevin Schwaller is here to walk us through it all. Kevin?
That's right. It happened in South Austin in April, and it happened right here at William Cannon and Brody Lane. And we got a traffic report that shows that the officer was driving with lights and sirens. He crossed into a median into oncoming traffic and then started going back on the right side of the road. That's when the truck in this lawsuit crashed into the police SUV. This video shows the impact. The officer drives over a median. Traffic is stopped at the light. He makes it partially through the intersection when the crash happens.
Fast.
Christopher Renfro and Gracie Renfro say their friend was driving the truck that hit the officer's SUV. They were his passengers. They say Christopher injured his collarbone, Gracie sprained her ankle and injured her foot.
I look up and just impact. I really didn't get a good look at what was going on.
You really can barely see over into the intersection if you're in the far right lane or far left lane.
A crash report states the officer was heading to a report of a man threatening people with knives when the crash happened. Here's the APD policy officers are supposed to follow on high priority calls. It notes an officer can speed but should not endanger life while doing so. It says officers can proceed with caution through traffic signals after slowing and, if needed, stopping to make sure it's safe. And officers can ignore laws about direction of travel if they can do it safely.
Officers have and other first responders rightfully have very broad protections.
The Renfro's attorney explains Texas law largely protects police from crashes while on calls.
There are likely going to be at least some people who watch that video and say, but the officer had his lights and sirens on.
Well, that's true, and that's why he gets the extraordinary right that other drivers don't have to go through red lights and to do other things, but they still have to do it in a manner that's prudent, careful, looking out for public safety, and not in a reckless way.
He believes this case is an exception, and it's why his clients are taking it to court. The Renfros are also suing their friend, the driver of that truck, but the suit states that they believe that the officer's actions were the primary cause of what happened. Now, the lawyer for the truck driver told us he was not negligent and suffered injuries himself. Now, the crash report lists no injuries in the case, but the Renfros say they were hurt. A spokesperson for the city tells me Austin is ready to defend the city and the officers. Kevin Schwaller, KXAN investigates.
And just a few weeks ago, KXAN investigator Brian Collister showed us how the state of Texas is working to make sure it doesn't have to pay up for crashes involving a law enforcement officer. The case involved a DPS trooper who, while pulling over a pickup for not having a front license plate, turned in front of an oncoming car. The Attorney General's office argued in court that a state law gives officers immunity if they are on duty. A Travis County judge disagreed and ruled this case should go to trial. The AG's office has appealed that ruling. For a closer look at this case, check out the investigative section of KXAN.com.
The way